Hey, welcome back, and in this video we're going to work on the 92 F-150, and we're going to pull this bad boy right here out and see what kind of condition it's in. So here's just a little bit of an update as to what I've done so far. I've gone ahead and kind of jacked up the back end and put it on kind of a stilt, if you will, just to bring it up off the ground. Maybe if I need to get into the transmission area, at least I can maybe squeeze in a little bit, because this thing was just pretty much sitting on the ground. The frame, as you can see right there, is completely bent, and you can see that the back end just really is not anywhere to be found almost. Yeah, there's still a lot of garbage and stuff back here like there was from the last video. Some of the stuff is still frozen, might be a little bit better now. With the angle that this thing is sitting at, it's helping drain all the water out. So over time I'll be able to pull some of this stuff out. But let's get to the engine bay. So I haven't done anything at all in here. It's pretty much like I left it the last time. I've just looked at it a few times just to get an idea what's going on in here. Most of these parts right now might end up just being spare parts, but I'll probably get rid of some of this stuff because it won't fit into the future project. I really just want a lot of the block and the lower end stuff, so that way I can build something with that and make a bigger project for it later. All right, let's get into tearing into it. I think what I'm going to do is maybe just first pull the latch off. I'm going to keep the hood on for now because it's supposed to rain and snow or something. I don't know what. No one seems to know around here. But let me just start tearing into that. I might also just go ahead and kind of clean up the edges here, get some room in there and get stuff out of the way. Alright, so here is where we are at. So I got the hood latch off. I ended up taking the whole brace off. I didn't realize that there was this little screw hidden back there, but anyway, no big deal. It's parts I can still use. And then this whole area is all clear. I took out all the wheel well covers and everything, just made it super easy. You can get good access to the engine this way. Nice and simple. Let's just move on to the other side and clean up that junk. Alright, so I got most of the stuff out on the driver's side here. Wheel well covers, kind of whatever was attached to it. I'm not really going to take that off right now, maybe a little bit later. It really is just kind of this huge wire harness that connects everything. It's dangling there. It's pretty much out of the way, so I should be okay. I did get rid of the AC unit and also just disconnected one of the power hoses. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to go in and start taking all this stuff off and see what happens. It started to rain, so I kind of had to stop. I also had to figure out how to get this guy out, the intake, what's it called, plenum, because I could see a bunch of bolts on the outside, but I couldn't see where that wrench is. I couldn't see where that one it was exactly and what it was. So doing a little bit of search online, it's actually a Torx 40 or a T40. And as you can see, there's kind of a little slit right there. I basically piled on all my 1/4 inch extensions and got that one in there. I sprayed a lot of PB Blaster in there to clean out like the Torx 40 head, like the socket part where you put your bit in. And I just PB Blastered everything, and I went slowly and just added force as I needed to turn it, because if that strips out, like I have no idea how I would have gotten that out. Honestly, a really weird design. I'm not sure why that would happen. Torx are notorious for breaking like Phillips. I've always had issues with that in the past. I don't like those things unless they're super easy to get to. And in this case, I would not have used that. I'm not sure what the engineer was thinking. While it was in between raining, I actually came in and removed the whole wire harness from pretty much all the way here and all the way around there. So that's out of the way, and I don't have to worry about that. I still have a lot of the ground and the power wires here, one to the starter and one to the block, and then whatever else is attached to it. So let me go ahead and get that Torx 40 out, and then pop the plenum off, and then move on from there. And there we go. Whew. This thing's heavy. So just to show you a little bit, that's kind of what happens when your EGR is running in there and it's not running super clean. That's why I'm not a fan of this stuff. Should just exit. But hey, what do I know? There's also like oil and stuff on there. Oh well. Here's the intake runners to the heads. They're also pretty dirty and caked up. Other than that, I would say they're pretty clean. Meaning there's no like massive debris or junk or stuff down there. So let me go ahead and actually try and take some more of this stuff off here and there and continue with the work. Got the water pump off. That was honestly the worst part that I've had to do so far. A few of the bolts broke and a lot of them were like seized in there. I had to like pull on them and turn and then try to get something to move. Some of them just took a lot of brute force just to pull out. It was really, really annoying. But it's off. And that just gives me a little bit of room and lightening the workload. I'm going to try and take some stuff off here and then go from there. Well, it seems the further I go into it, the more annoying little things get. So I got the fuel rail off. The only issue is that on this point right here, that bolt would not come out. It was partially stripped or whatever. I have no idea. That's where it was. The only thing I could do, if you can tell, I ended up having to use a cutting disc and I ended up chewing into the injector here. Got 7 more as spares if they work at all. I have no idea. I probably may never even use them and may throw them out in 2 years or whatever, that kind of thing. Anyway, I think you can see that there's pretty much no way that that was going to come out real easy. I did spray it with PB Blaster and it didn't really seem to help that much on this particular one. I'm going to take out the wire harness. I've already taken out the vacuum hose because that was pretty simple. There was only 1 or 2 connections left to go on that. And then I'm going to try and take off the intake. I managed to take it off, but this bolt right here broke in 2 places. It broke on the head, well, the head of the bolt that is, and then it broke in the head right over there. So that's really annoying. I don't know what else to say. It's kind of just a problem that I'll save for later if I ever use these heads again, which I don't think I will. Obviously there's some debris that fell in there because, well, I haven't vacuumed this engine at all. I didn't do anything. I didn't really care because this thing's going to be torn apart anyway, as you're seeing now. But you can see there is quite a bit of deposits and junk from maybe not that many good oil changes. So it's actually a really good thing that I'm in here basically taking all this apart. I'm going to figure out what I want to tackle next. I just want to know maybe if I'm going to lighten the load by taking the heads off, or if I'm just going to keep it all together. I do have to take the headers off, which I know are going to be a pain in the butt. I can tell already because the bolts are just in really bad shape. Maybe I'll use some heat and see what happens. But yeah, I guess we're going to find out. All right, so I decided I'm actually just going to go ahead and break down the valve covers and the heads. I've already kind of sawzalled the exhaust, and that's kind of fallen away on both sides. So that should make it a lot easier to pop these guys out. And we got some sun. Still a little cool, but you know, better than being in the rain and the colder weather. So let me get cracking on taking these things off and see where we get. Holy. Doesn't even look like oil changes were done quite regularly. This is caked on, nasty. Pretty much par for the course when you look at the valley for the intake, but anyway, try and take these heads off. Well, for some of you who've already noticed this, you kind of have to take the headers off to be able to take the heads off. There's bolts that are kind of wedged underneath it. I was hoping I wouldn't have to do that, but it looks like that's what I got to do. Now, I'm running out of time, so I'm admitting defeat at this point. I was hoping to at least have the block and all that at least separated from the transmission and pulled away from it and out, but that didn't happen. The weather wasn't cooperative. I'm also running into a situation where I have to figure out how to raise this thing up safely. I do have this section raised up, but I don't feel comfortable crawling underneath it. The jacks and all that are kind of crooked. So I may look into building some of those wooden block jack stand type things to get under there to kind of give it a bigger pad to support itself. But I gotta build them. If I didn't mention it before, this is a 302 5-liter small block Ford, and I'm actually going to use this in a different project, and that is why I wanted to pull it out. I wanted to see the condition. I wanted to see where things were at. I know this engine hasn't run in probably about 10 years based on some of the information I have with like the inspection and license plate stuff, but the way it is right now, I can't pull it out. I need to do more. So jacking up the front end, making sure that I can get access to the transmission, and being able to separate that will be perfect and make this job a little bit easier. So I got to take a look at what I have and figure that out. I did go ahead and just clean up some little loose things like some hoses and whatnot, and I was able to get the cooler for the transmission out. That just kind of popped out. Everything's kind of rusty and broken anyway. So it's pretty much, ready for that point. Really, that's all I have to do is just to separate the transmission and be able to pull this out, and then I'll get access to those headers, making those bolts or cutting or torching or whatever just a little bit easier. So like I said before, I'm admitting defeat. I ran out of time and I'm calling it here. There will be a kind of a part 2 for this, and hopefully I can go into kind of more detail as to where I'm going to use this. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.